Biggie building, you know he's on top. Million subs, he never gonna flop. Out of Chicago, where the streets don't sleep. Betting on games, making cash real deep. Crystal ball for sports, he knows the lines. He's a sports aficionado, the money he finds. From football to basketball, he's always on point. Predicting winners never disappoints. He's got that hustle, that Chicago vibe. Making moves on the streets, cash on the side. With E, you know it's always a bet. He's the king of the game, never forget.
Hello and welcome to the Etoft21sports show for June 25th. Is that where we're at? June 25th. How is everyone doing? My name is Eric. That is Chase on the screen, the special host for today. Chase, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having me. It's always fun to be on, and it's a weird time for sports, right?
You know, football's dead a little bit. I don't want to say football's dead. I mean, there's a Canadian league going on. Shout out to the Edmonton Elks for always finding a way to lose. That's always fun. But there's nothing. NBA's dead. You know what I mean? The draft's coming up. You and I were talking off air. There was a big news going on with Bridges going to the Knicks. That's another Villanova guy there, which is absolutely huge. But yeah, it's kind of a weird time. Like the Olympics are coming up. There's no NHL. NHL just finished. A lot of baseball. I mean, I know you've been diving into soccer. You're going to be the first one ever to give out a soccer play here, man. How does that make you feel?
I love it. I've been, watching these games. So hopefully I have something of value to add,
Now, let me ask you this, man. How much soccer have you watched prior to this?
A lot. So my dad actually owned a semi-pro team here in Little Rock. So like I grew up going to professional-ish soccer games and then watching it on TV constantly. Like I played until I was in my 30s too.
Look at you, dude. I had no idea you were such a footballer, if you will.
Yeah. I was the most dynamic 5'8" goalie that God has ever put on this green earth.
So before we jump into all this, thank you to the sponsor of the show, Parlay Play. If you're not using Parlay Play, go to the App Store, download the Parlay Play app. Gino has his horse racing by the day. Let's see what Gino has cooking for us. We're going to Churchill this week, my friends.
I have the best bet for you this week on Saturday at Churchill Downs. Now, the races are out early, but the morning lines are not. So, just want to give you a look at a horse who I think you definitely want to use in your late exotics, and you could probably put some win money on. It's going to be in race number 11. It's the Stephen Foster. Talking about Disarm, who's going to come back now and make his second start as a 4-year-old. He was pretty good last year. He was the runner-up in the Travers. He won the Matt win. He was 4th in the Kentucky Derby. He was off from August all the way to May of this year. When he showed back up in May, it was a field of 4, and he just went to the lead in one of the slower races you'll ever see. It was like a paid workout. That race will probably be nothing like the race he's in on Saturday, but it was the race that was able to shake a little bit of the rust off, get him a tightener here. I just think he's going to be a lot better in this race. Second start as a 4-year-old, so he's a major player in here. Disarm, make sure to use him in the Stephen Foster in all of your exotics. Good luck this week. We'll be back next week with another best bet for you. Make sure to listen to everything that Eric's saying when it comes to gambling and sports. He knows as well as anyone.
Make sure to give my boy Gino a follow at It's Me Gino B. Boom, dude. Bridges to the Knicks, Villanova Knicks, LOL. I mean, it's when you think about it, Dante, Hart, Bridges, and now Brunson. That's pretty solid, man. I mean, obviously, I think they need to re-sign Hart. I can't even pronounce his last name. The center, number 55.
Hartenstein.
Need Mitchell Robinson to stay healthy, but this is a great move for them, man. This is a legit move, a legit guy that can be the lockdown defender, make some threes, another guy that can create off the dribble. Because for how good Josh Hart is, he's not the shooter that Bridges is. He can't stretch the floor. So I think this is a huge pickup for the New York Wildcats. We'll call them the Wildcats from now on instead of the Knicks.
I was going to say, like, I would, almost say let's get the Jay Wright to New York chatter started up. Let's go ahead and get that rumor mill started.
Just get it going. The Jay Wright to New York chat. Love it. I mean, I Need It Sports Pod. Make sure to check those guys out. They did a phenomenal top 10 NFL quarterback list. Some great Jalen Hurts back and forth. Obviously, yeah, OG Anunoby is probably gone with this move. That's going to be a guy that's going to demand a lot in the free agent market. Selfishly, I'd love to see him on the Pistons. Love to see him on the Bucks. I don't think the Bucks have the financial freedom, but the Pistons definitely do.
Yep.
Let's make some money. Chase, I need some horse winners on Saturday morning. All right, no pressure. No pressure right there, man. No pressure. Speaking of horse winners,
for the next 3 days just to give Let's Make Some Money 69 some straight up horse winners on Saturday.
You're grinding right now, man. Are you alive in this pick 5 at like the horse racing Wyoming track you're betting right now, or
Assiniboia, Manitoba, Canada's finest horse racing. Yeah, actually, I just made it through the second leg. I got a lot. Had the chalk there after having a 16-1 shot in the first round. So I'm here with you, and I'm also keeping my eye on things in Manitoba.
What makes someone go, hey, it's Tuesday, June 25th. Let's bet some Canadian horses.
Well, Assiniboia Downs has one of the lower takeouts. And honestly, I wouldn't have played this pick 5 had I realized it's a jackpot bet. But they have like 20-cent trifectas, 20-cent trifectas, mess around, practice a little bit with like your trifecta structures, your superfecta structures. That, and it's really one of the only games in town in this time, this time of day in North America. It's like this or Mountaineer, and it's a fun little track. It's a fun little track to play. So they just went official in that second leg. So we were 2 down, 3 to go.
I have no idea what this means.
I haven't. I don't speak emoji, quite honestly. But I think it's football. And then a cigar. I don't.
Thoughts on JJ Redick getting hired? I have some thoughts on this.
Should I feel crazy for thinking that he's actually going to work out a lot better than Dan Hurley would have?
No, but I think they should have hired Sam Cassell.
I like Sam Cassell because he looks like an alien to me.
But I mean, he's been an assistant coach forever. He's won championships. You know what I mean? He's paid his dues. And the fact that he doesn't have a job and JJ Redick's getting a job basically because he did a podcast with LeBron, kind of BS in my eyes. I think it's going to blow up because a lot of people, former players going into coaching, they don't understand that the coaches have a meeting. They throw all the stuff on the board. Then it just dwindles down. It's not like this, it's more elaborate than I think these players realize that it's going to be. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a train wreck in LA. If my boy Bryce from the I Need It Sports Pod is still in the chat, I'm interested to see what his thoughts are on it. Bobby Thomas chimes in. What's up? How is Indy? Not going to lie, dude. Indy was a little rough, dude. Indy was a little rough. But I was able to meet Wade from Wade's Bets. Him and I had a couple adult beverages last night at the old District Tab, my friend. Watch Game 7 of the old NHL playoffs. That was a good time. Let's talk some takeaways, man. I have a fiery takeaway. I'll probably bitch a little bit. I may swear a little bit because fantasy football season is right around the corner. But you have a takeaway, man. I'm interested to hear your takeaway about.
My takeaway is that I need some drama in my life. The only kind of drama that sports can produce, because I mean, you can talk about the draft. I don't really get into the NBA draft as much. You can talk about, the Olympics, which is fun. It's fun to watch. I'm not sure. I've never bet the Olympics. I'm sure. I'll get into it. It seems incredibly difficult because they have all these heats and different rounds and stuff like that.
It's hard, and all the favorites are like insanely juiced up. I mean, the best thing to do is just the soccer and the sports. So,
yeah, I guess my takeaway is that I'm gonna have to rely on the Euro tournament and the Copa America tournament to provide my entertainment for the next month or so until we really start getting into the swing of football season.
oh my God, another move. Brooklyn has dealt with Houston to return the Nets 2026 first round pick for the 2027 Phoenix Suns first round pick. Sources tell ESPN. Rockets also acquire a 2025 right to swap for the 2025 Suns first round pick. Jesus, dude. Nets making some deals on a Tuesday.
Do the Suns have any first round picks left?
No, they have none, dude. Suns are going to be shit out of luck, dude, in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I agree with the sentiment about Cancel, but also think JJ will be a good coach because he has a great basketball mind. Even more so if he can get Rondo as an assistant. Another thing with the LA job, though, real quick, Chase. LeBron's what, 2-3 years gone? Then AD probably leaves. They really don't have that much draft capital. Is this really that good of a job? Plus, the pressure is going to be on to win.
Yeah, you pretty much win now, or it's a wrap. I think. For one, you're the Lakers. For two, LeBron. You always expect to win with LeBron, even though I think LeBron makes it impossible to win now. Yeah, I think it's a high pressure situation that he's stepping into, but I also think he's going to be really good at it. Honestly, I think he's going to be a lot better than a lot of people are giving him credit for.
I like to be a Debbie Downer. I'm gonna bet him first coach to be fired.
Ooh,
I'm gonna bet he's gonna be my NBA Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Back to what you're saying. Did you feel like the NHL didn't have any drama last night, or?
Well, just because the Panthers won, like you had the drama of a game 7, they scored. They both scored goals right off the bat, really quick. And so it was an exciting game, and then Florida scored their second goal, and then everything just kind of like shut down,
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you still have the excitement of like pulling the goalie, getting an extra skater out there and everything. But yeah, I mean, that felt like the last bit of excitement that I get for a while until college football kicks off.
I'll tell you what, man. I had no goal third period at plus 650. You want to talk about excitement, man? I was living at the old district tap in good old Indy there, grinding that out. Gave a high five to someone. I have no idea who it was. Wow.
High fiving is just clapping. It's just clapping with a partner.
He said nice hit, and he gave me a high five. Like, okay, dude, thanks for listening to our conversation. And I have the bartender telling me the story about her ghost tattoo on her bicep, which is a little weird. But teach their own, man. Teach their own. My takeaway is this. Football is right around the corner. Now it's the time for people to start pushing their stuff, their fantasy football guides. Like I'm going to push mine, the Etoft21sports fantasy football guide. Pre-sales on now. DM me if you're interested. It's going to be live August 1st. I made a comment on an Instagram post saying, hot take, I think this wide receiver is going to outproduce this wide receiver. It's a little off the beaten path when you just say it out loud, but when you explain it, it makes sense. And this guy replied to the comment, LOL, like I was kidding. And I was like, no, this is why I think this guy is going to outproduce this guy. And then he's like, oh, that makes sense. And then sure enough, a couple days later, he has a post about the guy I mentioned in the comment. You know what I mean? So I'm like, just be careful, guys. Just kind of be careful. Make sure these guys know what they're talking about. And I'm going to say this, Chase, your guys, your Saints made a phenomenal hire. They got Rick Dennison. And if you guys are paying money to a fantasy football provider and they don't know who Rick Dennison is, you're paying money to the wrong person.
I would
Rick
agree.
Dennison is an absolute genius. And I'm telling you guys straight up, Kamara, if he ever gets into camp, He's going to have a huge season. If he goes down, make sure you draft that guy from TCU, Miller. He is going to have a great season. Whoever that running back is, that's who you want a piece of. That's my thing. You know, a lot of people are going to be starting to push their products. And it's, oh, CMC is number one. Oh, you want to get this wide receiver. Just kind of listen to it a little bit, just because a lot of people are full of shit. That's my that's my big thing. That's my big takeaway, because I was dumbfounded that this guy didn't even comprehend my initial thought, and then I had to explain it out for him. That's kind of my thing. A lot of people are going to start pushing their football packages. Oh, buy my football package. Blah, 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 blah. Don't fall for that shit. Uncle Rico's here. I'll give you some shit for free. Chase is here. I'll give some shit for free. You know, just don't do that stuff. Don't go down that beaten path, because you know why, Chase? ROI. If I pay $50 a month for sports betting picks, what does that mean? I'm $50 in the fucking hole.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? I really think that's what people don't understand when they do this, paying for bets and everything. You're starting off in the hole, and no matter how good anyone is, they're not going to consistently hit over 60%. So that's kind of my long-winded rant about shit.
Here's my rant, and it's for you, which is, if you do feel like you need to or someone changes your mind on something, kind of like Uncle Rico did with this wide receiver for this one cat, at least put in the post somewhere, like, I didn't like it, but thanks to Uncle Rico, he really sold me on it, you know, like that sort of thing.
Like, literally, like, it's just amazing to me. It really is. But some of these guys are just, there's no original thoughts. There's absolutely no original thoughts. And that's kind of why, I don't mean to toot my own horn, that's why I feel people listen to me, is because some of my shit is some of the most craziest shit out there. And then when you really like step back, you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense, dude. Oh,
right.
Kind of makes sense. So I was gonna make a sweet betting graphic, but I didn't figure out how to do it. I'm really getting into graphic making, as you can tell, Chase. But we're gonna shift our attention over to some bets right now. Chase, the first one ever coming in hot with some soccer bets over at the Euros. Have you been watching the Euros daily?
Yeah, I've been watching. Usually I'll forget for just a minute and then come, at least catch the second half. But I've been trying to watch almost every single game. And I'll tell you what, this first bet I have, Ukraine and Belgium, I'm going for this one to go to a draw plus 235. Now, hear me out. Ukraine hasn't looked great so far this season, or this tournament. Belgium's looked fantastic so far this tournament. They're in the group stage. This is the last game of the group stage. Belgium's already through. They've already advanced. They won 2-2. They're good to go. They don't have to win this game against Ukraine. They don't have to be fully cranked by any means. Ukraine, most likely out of it, they might have a fighting chance to advance out of the group. So I think that they try to push it. I could see this being like a 0-0, 1-1 draw, though. And the odds for Belgium to win are terrible, but the draw at plus 235 is worth it.
I hate some Lakers. Fuck it. We'll do it. Let's make some money. So look ahead spot for them. Yeah, basically a look ahead spot. Sports Facts chimes in, my boy. I love this.
There we
bet.
go.
My next bet, I'm going to the Diamond. Give me the Chicago White Sox. First 5 plus 150. Chase, do you know who has the best ROI for the first 5 in Major League Baseball this year?
Please don't tell me it's the Chicago White Sox.
It is the man, the myth, the legend, former KBO great, Eric Fedde. He pitched for the Nationals, then he went over to KBO. Now he's back pitching for the White Sox. 10-4-2, 71.4% hit rate, ROI of 56.9%. At home this season, he's 5-1 with a 76.8% ROI rate. Freddie against teams with a winning record. First 5, 6-1-1. On the road this season, the Dodgers have been kind of mid on the first 5, 16, 17-5, negative 16.6%. When they're road favorites, only 15, 14-5, negative 12.9%. So not that great. You look at it, Dodgers bats have been struggling the last 2 weeks. Dodgers middle of the road against right-handed pitching. When you look at Stone for the Dodgers, he's kind of struggled against right-handed hitters. Chicago is a very right-handed hitting heavy team. I also kind of feel this is a little bit of a letdown spot for the Dodgers. Last game of a road trip. You have a day off Thursday. You know, you're thinking about getting home. Then you start with the Giants on deck. You know what I mean? Like your rival Giants are on deck Friday. Last day, you're thinking about getting home to the family or getting home to the mistress, whoever. I think it's a letdown spot. I'll take the White Sox here. First 5 plus 140.
I like that. I like playing the first 5s because bullpens just as a rule kind of suck. I'm shocked to hear that it's actually the White Sox or a pitcher for the White Sox that has the best first 5 ROI, because having the White Sox been just absolutely terrible so far this season.
They're like watching a little league team. The way they lose games is just hilarious. But what you do when Feedy pitches is you take him first 5, he goes out, then you just bet against the White Sox. They are the worst baseball team by far. And one of the futures I did was for the A's to have a better record than them. Everyone thought the A's were going to suck. A's aren't that. I mean, they're bad, but they're not as bad as people thought. White Sox are legitimately awful, but Eric Feedy, man, he's gonna be in the league next year. He's battling. I'll take the White Sox here. First 5 plus 140.
There we go. I like it. All right. So I'm getting cute with this one in terms of how I'm structuring it to try to make some money. I'm taking Portugal versus Georgia, the nation of Georgia, not the state of Georgia, because the Bulldogs would roll against Portugal. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm taking Portugal versus Georgia, and I'm taking Portugal halftime, full time. So they have to win the first half. They have to win the second half. Why am I doing this? Because for Portugal to win on the money line, which they should do quite easily, it's minus 260. I could play this halftime, full time, and say they win both halves of the game and get it at minus 115. Still a little bit juicy, but outside of naming just like the correct score or naming a goal scorer, which I'm nowhere near good enough to do, I think that this is the best way to kind of get value out of what should be a pretty certain win for Portugal.
Is Ronaldo playing?
Ronaldo is playing. That's the thing, is like this is probably his last go round at a Euro tournament. Either because he's getting old or because, like, I don't know, he might get extradited for taxes or something like that. But yeah, you can tell that he's very much invested in it too. So I think that Portugal rolls over Georgia, and they do it in style with goals in first half and second half.
I like it. My next one. Oh, we got some comments here, but my computer seems to be freezing. I love Comcast, buddy. Did I ever tell you that?
I think I've heard you mention it.
I love content. All right. So we are having a little connection issues here. Chase, am I looking okay to you?
Yeah, you're good. You might be a little bit laggy, but you're good.
All right. So my next bet, and I apologize because my banners are not working. I went over 9.5 in the Guardians and the Oreos. Jesus. Over 9.5 in the Guardians and the O's. O's for the season have been hitting right-handed pitching great. 7th best batting average, have scored the 2nd most runs against right-handed pitching. Looking at their last 3 weeks, they have the 3rd best batting average and have scored the most runs against right-handed pitching. They'll be facing Carlos Carrasco, who for the month of June has an ERA of 5.45, a whip of 1.22. Looking at his last 2 starts, his ERA is 4.91 and his whip is 1.09. So not really in great form with the success the Orioles have had, with the success the O's have had against right-handed pitching. I think they'll be able to get to him. For the season against right-handed pitching, the O's are 64% to the over with a 19.1% ROI. Flip side, Guardians for the season, 12th best batting average, 11th most runs scored against right-handed pitching. Last 3 weeks, the 9th best batting average against right-handed pitching and have scored the 11th most runs. They're also been very solid against right-handed pitching. Grayson Rodriguez happens to be 9-2-2 to the over, 82% with a 48% ROI. He's a kid who's going for the O's tomorrow. This month, he has an ERA of 4.44, a whip of 1.19. When we look at his last 2 games, ERA is up to 6.75, and his whip is 1.72. So to say he's been struggling is an absolute understatement. With the form of the hitting of the Guardians and the O's against right-handed pitching and the trends, I'm going to take this over 9 runs in the Guardians and O's game tomorrow.
They sure hit a whole lot of home runs, it seems. The Orioles do, at least. They have that, what's his name, that played for Oregon State, Adley Rutschman, who just belts it.
You remember when they brought up Matt Holliday's kid and he just completely sucked?
I didn't realize Matt Holliday's kid was old enough to play.
Yeah, Jackson Holliday came in and he was,
wow.
I think he was 1 for 21 and they sent him back down.
Yeah, at least he got his cuts in, right?
I mean, how can I word this? I think they brought him up too soon. You have all this pressure on him. You're supposed to be this can't miss prospect. Hitting a major league curveball is something you can't F around with.
No. That's ungodly breaking stuff that they throw. Stuff that breaks several feet, it's always knee buckling and hard to deal with.
Look, I do pay my cable bill. I don't know what's going on. We got some storms rolling in, but you know what? I seem to be functioning okay now from what I can tell. A little bit of hiccup, but you know what? We're battling through it here because you know why, Chase? We're professionals out here. We're professionals.
That's right.
Third and final bet, man. Where are you going?
Well, I love doing this in soccer because there's so much value in it. I'm betting the draw again. Czech Republic and Turkey. I'm betting to draw plus 230. If you just look at the odds, I mean, Vegas thinks that this is the most evenly matched game of the day, plus because you've got plus 175 and plus 175 on both sides of the Czech Republic and Turkey. Goals are is total set at 2.5, and the juice is under 2.5, which leads you to think that there's going to be 1 to 2 goals scored or less. So I think that this could easily end up a 1-1 draw or a 0-0 draw. Once again, I'll have to check and see how they've performed in the first couple games, but I know Turkey's won. Czech Republic might be grinding to try to get out of the group, but I don't think that they've got the chops to take down Turkey. I think they end up drawing here. I've only got 2 draws, so if you want to round,
how many games are
parlay them. Tomorrow there are 4. There are 2 at 11, and then there are 2 at 2 o'clock.
I mean, dude, just round robin the draws. Interesting. I hate the Lakers. Let's do it. I feel like I hate the Lakers. I mean, there's always some regs, and I appreciate you guys. I feel I hate the Lakers is that guy who's like, hey, man, let's go get a beer. He's like, okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much to get him over the edge to agree to stuff.
Right.
He kind of
twist my arm.
My final bet. Going to the diamond again, dude. Give me the Cards first 5. I think I got this at plus 140 or plus 145. Let me look real quick, as I'm not properly prepared, and I apologize for that. I got the O's I got the Cards plus 140 for the first 5. Last 3 weeks, which team has the worst batting average against right-handed pitching?
Is it the Not the Cards. Who is it?
It's the Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves. Okay.
A
That's worth
monstrous
noting.
207, and they have scored the 4th fewest runs in the last 3 weeks against right-handed pitching. Andre Palente is going for the Cards. He's pitched better at home. Stats are improved. ERA and WHIP are down. The Braves made Lance Lynn last night look like a pinchy. Lance Lynn, I don't know. When was the last time you saw a picture of Lance Lynn, dude?
It's been a while. I met Lance Lynn once, by the way.
Lance Lynn looks insanely out of shape. And they couldn't hit him at all yesterday. And I think the same thing is going to happen tomorrow night for Palente. Sale is going for the Braves. And look, dude, I know everyone's going to be like, but Eric, 10-2, 2.91 ERA, 0.93 WHIP. Let's look at the month. ERA, 5.09. His WHIP, 1.7. What does that mean? People are starting to get to him. Cards, and his velocity is down. People are starting to get used to him. He's coming back from an injury. He's not throwing as good. Cards, top half in the league against lefties the last 3 weeks. Sale not looking solid this month. Braves struggling offensively against right-handed pitching. Look, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Cardinals here. Plus 140 for the first 5. Otay State is not playing tomorrow, man. They're you will not hear me say OK State for a while. But you know what? They got rid of their basketball coach, so I really don't know if I'm going to be betting OK State. You know what? Let me pull up OK State's football schedule really quick. For those who don't know, Chase, myself, and XFL Jim are going to be doing a conference by conference preview. We're in the midst of planning that out right now, so definitely be on the lookout for that. We're going to give every conference. I actually locked in my first 2 futures in the MAC, man.
You're already locked in the MAC?
I got two futures in, dude. 2 futures. And if I told my old man, he'd be so disappointed in me. Looking at OK State, dude, hosting Arkansas this year, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one on the road right off the bat. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Razorbacks this season, so I've actually got that penciled in as a loss for us.
See, dude, I'm looking at OK State's football schedule. This is me off the top of my head. I mean, they have to travel to Tulsa right after they probably beat Purdue, Arkansas, with a trip with Utah coming into town next week. I'm going to be fading the living shit out of them in that spot against Tulsa. Kind of a weird looking schedule, man. Just
a little bit.
It's a weird, like, missing Oklahoma, missing Texas, missing. But you know what? They got Arizona State on there. God damn it! So
here we go.
Chase, for those who don't know, Chase hosts the notorious OTB podcast. Comes out every single week. He breaks down all the horse racing news. Big weekend of racing in Churchill Downs. Are you going to be covering that this week, my friend?
Yeah, actually, I'm dropping in on someone else's show, Keith's Cash Plays for the Trust the Profits network on YouTube. I'm gonna take a look at that card, and then me and Andrew Champagne are gonna be breaking down the late pick 5 for Churchill Downs on Saturday. And then I got Matthew DeSantis coming on tomorrow. We're gonna talk Belmont at Aqueduct, the Belmont face with an Aqueduct booty. We are gonna be talking about that Friday card together with $100 budget, how we would play it.
I like that. Chase, I'd like to thank you for coming on, taking time out of your schedule. Always enjoy doing this with you. And check out for that podcast. Myself and Chase and Jim will be live Saturday morning on Brunch Time Betting, sharing our bets for today. Thanks for coming on, my man. Let's make some money. Let's cash some tickets. Until next week, boys and girls.